everyone. Welcome back to Keeping Up with the Chaldeans. I'm Anthony Toma, your host. Today we have Alex Zayid with Icon Anti-Aging. What's up, buddy?
Not too much. Thanks for having me. Long time coming.
Yeah, for sure. We've been trying to schedule this for a very, very long time, and I'm glad today we had the opportunity to do it.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about Icon and the anti-aging component of it.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're actually neighbors. My office is right down the street in downtown Birmingham, for the people that don't know where we're at right now.
For a guy that drives by that area every day and can't find your office, where is it exactly?
So if you're familiar with Birmingham, the 555 building is a pretty iconic building. There's two sides to it. There's the residences, which is the taller glass tower, and then right next to it is the shorter glass tower. Has a bunch of storefronts on the bottom, but given the nature of my business, I wanted something that's a little bit more private, discreet for my patients, because a lot of things that we do are pretty private, and a lot of my patient base is well known and don't want everybody to know what they're doing. So it's actually on the very top floor of the 555 building. We have covered parking. Yeah, so it's pretty nice.
See, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's all the way up.
Okay.
It's cool. It's the it's probably the highest altitude that you could be injected with Botox in the state of Michigan. I think one of our patients looked that up. We're not a high-rise state, so
I see.
It's a pretty cool feature, but
that is.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about yourself before we get into the nitty-gritty and all the benefits that our audience is going to benefit from watching this episode.
I'm a born and raised West Bloomfield guy. With that means I'm in Birmingham a lot. Mm-hmm. Socially, family's always here, so on and so forth. Took a pretty traditional route. College, medical school, residency, and got board certified. But somewhere along the way in my training, what I initially thought I was going to do as a doctor got very diverted by issues that I just constantly saw in medicine. So in medical school, probably the most pivotal part of your training that helps you decide what type of medicine you're going to go into are rotations. And rotations means that for 1 month, you're following a general surgeon. For 1 month, you're following a dermatologist. You're following a primary care. And you basically audition and see what you love, what you hate, because at the end of medical school, you have to decide what you're going to specialize in and what residency you're going to do. Going into medical school, I probably was thinking something along the lines of plastic surgery or surgery in general, kind of because I'm Middle Eastern. That's what everyone tells you to do.
Yeah.
So when I actually got into the rotations, I would just see a common theme of a complaint from a patient, and I would see the exact same response from every doctor. Those complaints from males would be weight gain, energy issues, erectile dysfunction. For females, it would be weight gain, sexual dysfunction, depression, insomnia, anxiety, all these issues. And if the men and women were of a certain age, 55, 60, something like this, the doctor would just be in the room and just look at the patient. And if you were the patient, they'd just be like, Anthony, you're 55.
Yeah.
You're supposed to slow down.
Right.
And the patients, every single time, just look at the doctor like, what? You're supposed to heal and cure and help. And the answer was kind of, hey, I've slowed down too, because the doctor is usually of that age. So, yeah, I remember I used to be like that, and now I got a belly. I used to have this energy, and now I go to sleep at this time. And every patient was just very let down. And I'm sitting in the corner of the room, because that's all you do. You just sit there and watch.
Yeah.
I can't say or do anything. And I didn't know anything, truthfully. But I'm just thinking,
How many years ago was this?
This is my training at this time was 2016 to 2018. Okay, so the world of hormones was you couldn't even Google it, right? But I was thinking when I'm 55 and I go to my doctor and I say that, I'm having issues with erections and I have 50% of the energy I used to. I have these love handles and man boobs, but nothing in my life has changed. I've just gotten older. And my doctor just gives me a pat on the back and says, cool, see you in a year. You're going to be fatter, more tired, and have less sex.
You have a $50 copay at the counter outside.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would be pissed.
Yeah.
And a lot of these patients are still today because they're receiving those same answers. I mean, of your viewers, 90% of them have complained about this to their doctor and has gotten a nice, tap on their way out the door and see you in a year.
Good luck.
Yeah. So that was confusing to me. I did research. I found that a lot of doctors throughout the country, not a lot, but there was a good amount that were treating their patients with hormones, with the aspect of anti-aging. They were calling this longevity medicine or anti-aging medicine. Mm-hmm. And the thought behind that is aging is a process of the loss of hormones. You're a male, your driving hormone is testosterone. This is what made you be a wild boy when you were 13, is what helped you develop all the things that you are as a male throughout adolescence and adulthood. But then further down the line, statistics show at the age of 30, you start to have a decline. And all of the symptoms of aging, like I mentioned, energy, fatigue, sexual, they all start to decline, or they increase as your testosterone declines. So if you think of that, all of these signs and symptoms are a result of losing hormones. So women lose estrogen, and all of these symptoms go up through the roof. Men lose testosterone, all these symptoms go through the roof. So if you think about it, if you just prevent the decline or replace these hormones, can we reverse some of these symptoms? And talk to patients that are on this therapy, and they can. So I found doctors throughout the country that were doing testosterone and estrogen replacement therapy, and I asked if I can come work with them for free. Outside of my rotations, if I could be mentored by them virtually, they would send me case studies, they would send me patient cases. I would go work with them on the weekends. I would work with them sometimes after my clinicals, and I just became completely immersed into hormones, anti-aging from a metabolic, biologic, and aesthetic perspective. The aesthetics everybody understands, right? For years, people have been doing Botox and fillers, and it's almost like a spoiled boiled egg, right? On the outside, it's nice and white, but when you crack it, it's all moldy in the middle.
Right.
So if you're just taking care of the exterior, but your bones are hurting, you're tired all day, you're depressed, can't have sex with your partner, who really cares what you look like if you feel like crap? So I wanted to offer a practice that was comprehensive. A lot of places do hormones, but they don't address the aesthetics. 1,000,001 places in Birmingham do Botox, but they don't understand how we can treat these people from the inside out. So I created an office that's super comprehensive, and I think people are loving it.
Yeah, sounds like that's my next doctor's appointment is going to be to come see you. I got my hair done recently. It's
Well, it looks good.
and then next is the internal organs and the testosterone and that good stuff.
Well, it looks great.
I want to stay alive. Thank you.
Well, and that's medicine for the longest time has been, how many years can we get like on paper? I don't subscribe to that. I'm pretty religious. I think, your time is written in stone. You're going to go when you're going to go. So I tell my patients, even when I tell people to stop smoking, I never give them some sort of promise that if you put down cigarettes, you're going to live a day longer. I have people they eat perfect, they exercise for 2 hours a day, they can get hit by a bus. That's out of my control. What my job as a doctor is I want you to actually be living while you're alive. I want you to be comfortable walking up and down stairs. If you have kids or grandkids, I want you to be able to play with them. I want you to be alive. There is no place in my personal life where I'm living and breathing, but I'm decrepit and I can't go on vacation and sightsee and travel with my family. That's just having a pulse, but you're not alive. So it's got to be a combination of living a really good life, and that's kind of what this therapy allows people to do.
So for those out there watching and are already intrigued like I am, what's the process in getting an appointment? How do they get an appointment? And then kind of walk us through the process of the whole thing, how long it takes, how many times they have to come see you, when they have to come see you.
Yeah,
stuff
absolutely.
Like that.
So there's going to be people that are watching that probably started with me 3 years ago, and those people have my personal cell phone number. I literally just started doing this off my number because the first people I treated were my family members, right? Because you have to learn, it's medicine. So they knew that I was using them as like guinea pigs, and from there, now it's evolved into a practice of 14 people, and half of them are running my weight loss and hormone program. So I see patients in 38 states throughout America. We have virtual intake appointments or in-person appointments, but the first step of the process is labs. I have to know what are your baselines, and I have to know if you even qualify for hormone replacement, because you could have the testosterone level of an 18-year-old. I don't know. There are anomalies out there. Yeah. And we don't just treat numbers, right? I'm not just going to look at your labs. I want to know how you feel. What are your complaints? So the first step is you reach out to our office. If you follow my Instagram, I have contact information everywhere. But you'll literally just text a number. Like, this is a text that we get every day. Hey, this is Jim, my friend Mike told me about Dr. Alex's hormone program. That'll go to, depending on the number, one of my physician assistants or nurses, and they'll say, cool, so happy to have you. The first step is scheduling a lab appointment, and we have an agreement with a lab company that's all over North America, actually, and they have a lab that is within 10 minutes away from you. I don't care where you're at. You could be in a city, in North Dakota. They'll have a lab that's 10 minutes away from you. They have about 50 open appointments throughout the day. You'll schedule everything online. You'll go do that test. You don't pay any money. You don't do anything. I handle all the payment. It's about seamless as it can get. If you want to pay $50, they'll come to your house or your office and draw your blood for you. Okay. So you'll do the labs, and about 5 or 6 days later, you will be speaking to me. We'll break down every single component of your lab. My lab is proprietary to me, the order that I have. You'll have like 98 biomarkers. We'll talk about the health and status of your liver, your kidneys, your cardiovascular risk. We'll get into hormones. We'll talk about cognitive things that might be already happening and the risk that you're at. And then we'll talk about how we can treat you, right? And then when you're on therapy, and this is where our office is different than places that you'll see online, TRT, testosterone replacement. There's places that are doing it for pennies, but they're not following up with you. There's not a doctor on staff. There's a nurse that has like a friend that's a doctor.
They're more about just a wholesaler.
Yeah, they're a wholesaler. They're just they're writing a cookie cutter prescription to every guy that comes in, and for most 70%, it's going to work out great. But there's that 30% that's gonna be in danger, right? They're not being monitored. So it's a pretty seamless process. When I built my office from a Botox or hormone or liposuction perspective, the company that I worked with to kind of integrate everything, I just used the word frictionless over and over again. Contacting me should be easy. Getting in should be easy. Scheduling should be easy. Follow-up instructions should be easy. And it's a growing process, but it's pretty simple. Just text the number and it'll all be streamlined from there.
How big is your office?
We have about 2,000 square feet, and I am in desperate need of more.
Is there more room up there or no?
No, there's not. Funny story about that. One of the owners of the building is actually, he has the suite right next to me. So when I first submitted my application for the lease, he called me, not even the realtor. He called me and was like, how old are you? And I told him, he's like, how long have you been a doctor? And I told him, and he's like, I'm just looking out for you. I don't think you should sign this. He goes, this is a really expensive lease. There's a lot of space. You're in downtown Birmingham. It's not cheap. He goes, I own other buildings. I could set you up. I said, no, I think we're good. I'm ready to do it. And he's like, he just said basically no. And we have mutual people that we know in the Birmingham area that I had call him just to be like, he's fine.
He's good, yeah.
Yeah, he's fine. He's got a good model. And he called me. He's like, who are you? Like, who are these people calling me for you? And I was like, trust me, like, just sit down with me. So we went to lunch, basically told him this whole story I told you. And he became my patient at the end of the lunch, and he saw it. And then he asked me, he was like, there's 1,500 square feet next door. Do you want to add that on? At the time that I signed my lease, it was just me. I didn't even have an assistant. I didn't have a nurse. I was 1 year or less than 1 year out of residency. And I was putting a lot on the line, like an insane amount of money on the line. And I was like, no, I think this is good for now. I'll grow into it. Within 90 days of being open, I called him and I was like, I need that space. And he's like, it was taken. So super grateful to him. He's a mentor. He's a great guy. And but yeah, we're growing. Thank God.
It's funny that he went from no to would you like additional space?
Well, yeah, because he could relate. Most people can. You don't have to be a guy of a certain age to I'm only 34, so I'm not experiencing any of these things, but it's not unrelatable.
Right.
For a guy that's talking to me about these things, it's not hard to imagine. It's not hard to imagine constantly feeling tired. It's not hard to imagine having issues with sex. We're men. These are the most important things in the world to us.
And repairable, which is
nice. When I'm hearing it, and I know that I can fix this, and I'm overhearing, I cannot tell you how many times I'm being told or overhearing a conversation where someone's just like, man, I can't believe it.
How do you inject in a conversation like that if you ever do?
I don't.
Unless you know them?
If I know somebody in the conversation, they'll usually tap me in. Right now, thank God, there's like enough word of mouth. Word of mouth is my whole business. I'm not running any ads for hormones. Right. I used to run ads for weight loss. 3 years ago, I was the only person writing weight loss. I was being scrutinized for writing weight loss. So I was killing ads. I mean, I was spending $50,000 a month on Facebook.
Yeah.
Because everybody I put it in front of, I was the only person writing it, and their primary care doctor was hating it, so they would call me. But now it's just word of mouth. You know, everybody's kind of getting into this, but I have a little bit of longevity in the field, so most of the time I get brought up. It's a little inappropriate to go and,
Yeah, that's why I asked.
you know, yeah. But usually, like if I'm in the vicinity, like, you know, I'll see you at market sometimes.
Yeah.
I usually take my office out for dinner after like long procedure days, and we're all wearing our scrubs because we're just leaving the office, and that's like a walking business card. You know, there's a guy I just met at market 2 weeks ago. He's from Aspen, and he was like, "You're that guy," and I was like, "How did you find me from Aspen?"
Nice.
He's like, "I'm from here," so he's seen me on social media, but that's usually how.
Yeah, for sure. So we spend a lot of money on the Meta platform now too, with the modeling side of things. What was that lead cost back then for you when you first started?
Oh my gosh.
And it's a different space, obviously.
Yeah, I think like per click was like $3.
What about per lead?
Well, oh yeah, I should say per lead. Like so I would do like the lead gen forms.
Yep.
So for them to fill out a form was like $3. I think
That's not bad.
it's like 55 now.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was trying to get at.
But again, like this was this is 2022 or 2021.
No one did them.
Oh, I could also say words like weight loss. I could say semaglutide, which is like the actual name of the medication. And now it's all flagged. I used to be able to post, and this is a whole other combo, but I used to be able to post like really nice before and afters, right? If I had a young lady that would lose 30 pounds, she would have a before and after. And the right way to show before and after is like a sports bra and leggings or something. But you can't post those. I get flagged for like body positivity every day. So, but even though I'm a doctor, so it's very frustrating. I posted a liposuction before and after the other day, and she's wearing, like, she's very fully clothed. Like a bathing suit is more revealing than what I posted.
Yeah.
And it got flagged for inappropriate, nudity, all these things. But if you're like an OnlyFans model, you can post, you can post anything on social media and it stays. So it's tough.
You have to now, the before and after has to be like a shot of her grin and then a smile.
100%. And if you want to show the abdomen, it has to be just the abdomen. But a lot of times
Are you serious about it? You're serious?
No, I'm dead serious. I have, because for everybody watching and you end up getting a Meta liaison, like if you spend enough money. So I have a liaison, so I have somebody I can reach out to. So it's multifactorial, and this is something that like all businesses go through. But anything I post on Instagram, I could post a picture of my son, it'll get reported by 30 accounts.
Just because they're so they have bots just flagging your shit.
Yeah.
And it's not even the actual community that's seeing this. These are bots from,
it's either or.
From a competition.
Yeah, it's either or. So somebody, like I was on somebody's radar at some point, a company that's bigger than me or cares to do that. And so that's how I know. And the guy literally told me, he's like, you should post a random picture one day. And I think, I don't know what I posted. I posted my cousin's backyard, which has nothing to do with medicine.
Right.
I just did it for like 12 hours, and I think within 12 hours it was reported like 10 or 15 times.
Oh yeah, somebody's after you. You're making noise. It's a positive thing. It's a compliment, actually.
All good problems.
I
think of I don't know. I think you can turn all good things or view you could view all things as good, right?
Yep.
So, and that has a lot to do, a lot of my conversations I have with people, you know, I can prescribe these guys, let's just talk about guys, right? I can prescribe guys this, you know, Superman fuel is what I call it. I have like a combination of hormones and peptides that will undoubtedly like turn the clock. Like you will just feel amazing. But if you don't give me anything, if you're just taking these medications and you're not incorporating like a positive lifestyle, if you're not putting the right things into your body, you're not managing stress appropriately, you're not going to see that big of a difference. And the biggest thing that I see people doing is just like, this is such a cliche thing to say, but one of the biggest changes in my life to be on the path that I was, which is like, you know, I was going to be a doctor, but just to like take this leap, believe in things like working out and whatnot. So it's being like toxically positive. And just believing things are going to work out. Sometimes you have to be a little bit delusional to be a business owner. If you want to create something that's bigger or a little bit out of the norm, you have to be insanely positive. You have to be a tiny bit delusional and believing it'll work out. And so these guys, same thing, that come to me, I just need them to believe that the things are working, and they just need to buy into it from day one, because it's a medication, right? And it's not like you don't just take testosterone and the next day you have a six-pack.
Yeah.
So you have to start putting in the work, and then...
What is the work?
So the work, most guys that come to me are very sedentary. They're, on the other side of 50, they're usually very successful. They've accomplished a lot, and they're not going to the gym. They're probably drinking 4 times a week. They're eating out 5 or 6 times a week, or being taken out 5 or 6 times a week. And they kind of had the world at their palms, and that time in their life that they were really like grinding is maybe a decade behind them.
Yep.
So to rewire their brain, and I always talk to them, I'm like, man, remember when you were my age? Like, you were just after it nonstop.
Yeah.
And they tell me, they're like, yeah, when I was your age, this and that. I'm like, all right, you made all this money. You created all these things. Wouldn't it be a shame to not see it for another 50 years? And that's the pain point.
50?
They're 50.
Yes.
Your goal should be 99 and a half years old. That's my goal.
I got
100 is too
I have
many
a- I have
numbers
a
on
new
the cake.
goal.
It should be your goal.
Yeah, all right.
There's a geneticist. He's somebody that I read. I'll read anything he puts out. His name is David Sinclair. He's a geneticist at Harvard, and he truly believes and has like the research and the data and like the pathways and protocols that people should be able to live to 150.
I think I've seen something on him before where I read or saw that.
It's a book. Everyone should listen to it. Every human being in the world. It's a book and podcast. It's called Lifespan by David Sinclair. If you read this, you will call me a week later.
Really?
You'll just, how could you not? I'm a dad. I have 2 boys. And I care more than I've ever cared in my whole life to live as long as I possibly can.
For them.
Yeah, how could I want to see everything that they do.
Yeah.
I want to see them surpass me, and I want to see them go through all these cool things. So I have, the work starts now. So I'm doing an insane amount of things as a 34-year-old to make sure that I hit that mark that I want to hit, that God gives me. But so at one point, these guys were doing those things, and it's usually for their business, right?
Yep.
But like I said, everything worked out. They got the money, they have the family, they have the friends, they have the social life, and things just taper off. That's pretty normal. So just reincorporating weight resistance training, just making sure that they're putting the right things into their body, making sure that they're managing stress appropriately. One of the biggest things I dislike is people talking about lowering stress. Have you ever been able to you can't lower the stressful things that are going to happen in your life. You can't.
Stressful things are going to happen.
They're going to happen. That's life. So when somebody's giving you advice and they're like, remove the stress from your life, cool. Maybe you have a stressful girlfriend. Remove her. Well, you're going to get another one.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of girlfriends.
Or 2.
It's going to be stress.
Might be
Yeah, double the stress. Whatever you want to do, right? So you might get rid of a stressor, right? You might leave a job. Well, you're going to get another job, and that job's going to have stress. So you shouldn't worry about getting rid of stress. You should worry about how to cope and manage stress.
How does someone do that?
Yeah.
At the regular level without having to kind of dive too deep into it? How does someone do that?
I'm still learning.
Yeah.
I'm 34, so I don't have the answers to everything. One of the coolest parts of my job is I'm usually talking to men that are 10 to 20 years older than me that are a place in life that I want to be in.
Yeah.
So we start off the visit, and usually I want to get to know them and how'd they get to where they're at, what was their company, how'd they make money, how'd they lose money, and just tell me about their life. And I end up learning a whole bunch from them. And sometimes I'm more stressed at the end of the visit because I'm hearing about their life. And then we talk about the things that I'm going to do for them. And I don't know. I don't know from a life perspective. I know, I don't sleep enough, and I'm not doing the right things to manage stress too. So I also tell my patients this. I know exactly how to have an 8-pack, but I don't have one.
Right.
Knowing how to do these things and actually incorporating them are very difficult. My first line of every weight loss visit is I sit down. Hi, Jenny. How are you? Blah, blah, blah. I'm good. Blah, blah. Let me just start off by telling you this is going to be the most underwhelming consultation of your life. And the reason is when I have a lady that's 45 and overweight, she's tried every diet in the world. She knows about keto, Atkins, this, that, the other, intermittent fasting. They've tried it all. It's because the secret to weight loss is not at all a secret. It's just doing it is very hard. Just like managing stress is very hard, getting to bed at the right time. But there's a lot of peptides that I incorporate into my programs that manage inflammation. So
Inflammation's a lot of it, right?
inflammation is everything.
Yeah.
My fixation with obesity is inflammation. The more overweight that you are, the more inflamed you are, and inflammation is the keystone of all diseases. Inflammation is the keystone of dementia and Alzheimer's, of Parkinson's, of multiple sclerosis, which is something that's increasing by the day in the Middle Eastern community, and Alzheimer's, and diabetes, and cancer. So, you know, just working to reduce inflammation it's got to be the first step. So there's a lot of things that I use. NAD is very popular right now. I think I've seen maybe you post it.
I've had a couple doses, yeah.
Yeah, so NAD is amazing, but a couple doses won't work.
Yeah, I know.
It's not a one and done. People always ask me, hey, I got this going on, what can I do? I'm like, I can give you some things that feel better, but that's not the goal, right?
Yeah.
The goal is reducing inflammation for a month it's not going to prevent much.
Right.
So like NAD is great. This is something that should just be a part of your lifestyle. If you can afford it, it should be something you're going to do forever. I started my NAD regimen when I was 29. I'll do it, I'll probably be getting an IV drip when I die.
How often do you do it?
There's different ways to do it. You could do IV therapy. So you'll need to do a loading dose for the first month, which I would talk about with my patients because I kind of have my own protocols. Or there's ways to do injections in the belly, and you'll do those anywhere between 3 to 5 nights a week. You can also do oral tablets, and you can do patches. And I just gave you guys that in order of efficacy. So IVs are best, injections are next best, and then orals and patches. I don't believe that they work. This morning, though, I'm working on a cognitive supplement stack. I did a NAD nasal spray. Today was my first day ever doing that. So,
shit.
Yeah, anything, well, I shouldn't say anything, but most things that I will give my patients I've tried.
Okay.
Because I want to know, like, hey, you're going to start this injection. Just so you know, the first 3 days, your stomach's going to be wrecked. I'll be honest with patients. Or you're going to do this, you're going to inject this in your belly, it's going to get red and hard for 2-3 days. I don't want a patient to call me and I'm just like,
hey, I'm red and hard.
Yeah, I can't.
I should have told.
I can't relate.
I already told you that.
Yeah, so I just like to be experienced, and I have enough knowledge with these. I'm not going to harm myself, and I usually end up benefiting and staying on most things long term. So
That's good. And so the dieting side of things, that's what can you tell people about that and the Ozempic craze and how to do everything safely?
Yeah. So I'm not a nutritionist. A big misconception is that doctors know nutrition. We take 0 nutrition classes to become a medical doctor. The word carbohydrate will come up on a board exam from a biochemical perspective, not a diet and nutrition perspective. So I always start off by telling my patients that. If somebody is guiding you from a nutritional perspective, make sure that they have a background. For that reason, I've done a few things in my office. Every weight loss patient gets a free consultation and intake with a nutritionist. She's amazing. She works with professional athletes all throughout the country. She has tens of thousands of patients. She's huge. Her name's Jill. Every patient just gets a consult with her because she's going to break down your macros based on Anthony. It's not going to be cookie cutter. Because when you go online, they're going to tell you, have 100 grams of protein a day. That's irregardless, male or female, how much you weigh or what your ethnicity is. That's very dependent on who you are. Because medicine's not at all cookie cutter. We're all built different. And she's going to trial you through the process, and then she's going to change your diet 3 months in, right? But in general, what I'll say when it comes to Ozempic is a big issue with the medication is that humans will always take the path of least resistance.
Right.
What has happened to me on my program a million times is I'll have a girl that's going to the gym 5 times a week, but she's not able to lose weight. And so she'll come do my program. And for the first time in 10 years, she's lost 20 pounds. But now she stopped going to the gym because she's losing weight.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm losing weight and I'm not waking up at 5 a.m. to go to the gym.
I never liked going to the gym.
I never liked going to the gym anyways. And what I end up telling her is you are hurting yourself from the way your body looks, but you're also hurting yourself from a longevity perspective. And I'll tell you both. As a female, the shape of your body is wholly dependent on muscle. Right? If you lose your muscle, you're for the most part going to lose your shape.
Yeah.
Right now, girls want sporty legs and athletic butts. If you stop going to the gym and you just take Ozempic, your body's going to eat away all that muscle. And that's where the terms like Ozempic face and Ozempic butt came from. The issue with that term is that happens with any type of weight loss. If you lose weight just from dieting or bariatric surgery or from Ozempic, Wegovy, any of the shots, weight loss in general is going to cause a decrease in lean mass, right? For that reason, all patients come into my office. We'll have you do this week, actually. It's pretty cool. I have a body composition device. So you stand on this device, and it tells you how much skeletal muscle you have, how much body fat you have, how much water is spread throughout your body. And then we actually compare that before and after the program. And I set a goal. I tell people your skeletal muscle mass should not go down. Your body fat should go down. It's almost impossible to do that, but that should be the goal. And the way that people do that is two things. Number one, weight resistance training. Number two, eating enough protein. Those are the two most important things. If you do that and you pair that with the shots, 5 months later, your entire body composition is going to look insanely different.
So where does the Ozempic face come from? Like how do you prevent that?
I mean, it's just marketing. Ozempic face, in my opinion, came from nurses that were unable to prescribe Ozempic that are injectors, and they wanted to get people to not take them. Because, like I said, the reality is if I take a 50-year-old male that's 250 pounds and he loses 70 pounds within 1 year, he's going to not only lose fat from his belly, from his thighs, from his love handles, you also have fat in your face.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen is when you're overweight and older, you actually look younger in the face. And it's because you're hiding all of the bone loss and wrinkles. You're more plump. You're blown out.
Yeah.
Now, when that 50-something-year-old guy loses 70 pounds, it's just going to reveal his actual age. Right? But it was just a marketing ploy, in all honesty. But let's say it wasn't. Let's say it was real. And Ozempic does cause like a gaunt-looking face. Well, it's also decreased your risk of heart disease, Alzheimer's, diabetes, all of these things down the line. And if you're worried or bothered by your face, that's why there's doctors like me and my amazing nurses that can plump you back up and make you look beautiful and young.
There you go. Well, so we're going to wrap it up, but is there anything you want to mention or plug before we go?
No. Social media, it's Dr. Alex Zayid, dr.alexzayid. Maybe we could type it on the screen.
Yep.
All the information is there. I just think right now hormones are hot, right? People are understanding that patients want them, patients need them. And what I would tell people is this, is I studied hormones and got certified to prescribe hormones 2 years before I prescribed a hormone. I studied relentlessly. I trained with some of the most notable longevity doctors in the world. And I spent time with them because there's as much harm that can come from these as there can be benefit. In this city alone, the amount of hormone clinics that have emerged in the past 6 months is alarming. Whether it be me or somebody else, just make sure that the person that you're going to is a board certified doctor. Make sure that they have more than a weekend certification in the ability to write hormones, right? Just look into where you're getting these. Not only the doctor, but where are these compounds and medications coming from? Half of my practice is new patients. The other half is patients that have been treated wrong.
Oh boy.
Right? I have men that come in with gynecomastia. I have women that come in that are at risk of breast cancer and didn't know it. I have a lot of issues that are coming into my clinic. And that always hurts me because when a guy comes in to start, I can make him feel really good in 90 days. When somebody comes to me that's all messed up, it takes me 3 to 6 months to get them back to even, let alone feeling good, right? So there's a lot of great doctors in the area. I'm not the only one that is doing this the right way, but regardless of who it be, just do your homework.
So since we are a race of people that look for things for the least resistance, right? The path of least resistance. Instead of doing all your homework, just go to this guy. What are you wasting your time for?
I will say, I think I have the most affordable programs in the state. And the reason is you know, I don't need to become a billionaire doing this. I just need to keep the lights on, feed my family, and have a lot of people tell me that they feel good working with me. So
live to 99 and a half.
Yeah, I just want to have all my friends with me, right? I don't want to be I want my brothers there with me. I want my kids. I want my family. And I want, you know, a bunch of best friends blowing out candles at the same time.
Before we go, what's in the bag?
It's all for you, man. We got a lot of merch. We got our
What?
icon bags. We got a nice icon hat for you.
Oh boy.
Got to have the one of the mayors of Birmingham walking around with our merch. This is cool. This will keep whatever you want to drink
Heck
cold
yeah.
for a long time. This is a coconut oil balm. All right, it's a lip balm
Lips.
made of coconut oil. This is pretty dope.
All right.
And then, you know, if you got any female friends, this is kind of cool. I love merchandise. I love marketing. It's probably take up too much of my time doing that, but this is cool. So everybody's got the pop sockets, right?
Yeah.
This is like a pop socket. It'll go on your phone. It's got the logo. It'll go on the back of your phone. But for women, you guys are always out and you're touching up your lips. And the way that they touch up their lips is they're putting their phone selfie camera on. So what I made is a phone pop socket that has a mirror.
Uh-oh.
So put this on the back of the phone, fix your makeup, make sure you don't have any, you know, food on your...
Lipstick teeth.
Yeah. And then, you know,
Badass.
a bunch of other cool stuff in here.
Thank you
All right.
very much.
No, thank
Much
you.
appreciated.
I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Cool.